Okay, I'm heating up the bridge with my little direct volt, 12 volt silicone heaters. So the first thing I gotta do is I gotta scrape the existing glue and probably a little bit of the spruce top from the back of this. And then I'm going to sand it so that it's level. I need to get rid of the glue that was on there. So I will sand that until I get it basically ready. First of all, I'll use the razor blade scraper, and then I will take it to some sandpaper to get the back flat. Alright, so this has been warming for about 20 minutes, and I can start to get my knife underneath. So what I'm trying to do here is to remove the bridge that was actually a replacement bridge that was put on and put in the original bridge that came with this Guild guitar. So you'll notice that I will heat up one section and then move the heater along and then keep on doing that until we get to a point where hopefully the bridge will come off. So if I have to heat up underneath it, I'll move the heater over. You can get an idea of how thick and sticky this glue is. It's, you know, you have to put a little bit of force in order to get it through. But you don't want to push too much force in. You want to work from all sides to watch out for grain run out. The silicon heating pad that I use for a heater there is flexible, so I'm putting that little piece of wood in there so that I can work and force some of the things down into the tails of the, you know, the low parts of the bridge there so that they can get heated up as well. Now that I have one side of the bridge kind of lifted, I want to keep it from the glue from recongealing and gluing it back down, so I'm putting that little razor blade in there as a spacer to keep the glue from going down and reattaching itself. You can start to see little fibers showing up on the top of my palette knife, which is foreshadowing what is to come here. So
That's
this looked like a
pretty
combination
effing
of crumpled up
ugly.
shavings and some sort of glue. It was really thick and ugly and probably a tone killer for the bridge.
That is completely filled with wood dust and shavings, and this really is unbelievable. It is so thick. Bunch of crap underneath here.
Okay, I'll spare you from having to watch the duration of this. It's kind of like watching glue peel. It took a while. With the bulk of the glue removed, at least the larger chunks, I switched to a razor blade to slowly scrape away a lot of the remaining glue that was on top of the soundboard. Now that I have the outline of the, basically flat, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find out exactly where this original bridge, the one that we're going to put back on, that was originally from this guild, I want to find out exactly where it sits, and so that I can remove all the finish from underneath it. So I'm going to basically put it into place and then score around it with a knife. You might not be able to notice this because the bridges are basically mirror images right now, but the distance between the holes on the old bridge and the saddle is significantly more than on the original bridge, which would have led to this guitar playing out of tune. It would have been sharp for all of the time that it had this new bridge on, because the saddle was actually too close to the headstock. So what I'm doing there is basically just putting a pencil line in place so that I can make sure that I'm not going to be scraping past where I need to in order to glue the bridge down when it's time to do that. I just want to make sure I'm within the line, so to speak. I'm deleting about 45 minutes of this, scraping the glue off of here. You can thank me later. The bridge held in place in the proper position, I need to score around it just lightly to take out the finish. This has to be a very light cut. You just want to get through the finish and not score any of the wood, otherwise it creates a weak point that can tear away and take the bridge with it if under the string pressure. It's a very light cut here. putting the corner of the razor blade right along the score line to go right up to the edge of where the edge of the bridge will be, to remove all of the shellac that was underneath there. This will allow the bridge to rest on the soundboard and be able to be glued up properly without any gaps or trying to adhere to a finish. So once again, I'm deleting about 35 minutes of this tedious scraping down to the bare wood, removing the finish around the edge and all the remnants of the glue. So at this point I'm checking to find out how much cup there is in this bridge. I know that from putting it on a flat surface that it kind of bows up. It's a little bit concave in the middle from the base side. So there's a gap here that I've got to deal with, and I've got to figure out how big it is. It ended up being about 20 thousandths, or about the thickness of a veneer. So what I ended up doing was putting a piece of veneer on the bottom that fills up that gap, and then I have to sand it away until it reaches the wings and allows the bottom of the bridge to have a flat surface to glue up against the soundboard.
So this replacement bridge, which was actually the original bridge, is actually not flat on the bottom. So what I've decided to do was to put a piece of veneer on it. It's just a tiny bit out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out of here and from the veneer, and then I'm going to sand the bottom. It's cupped, so these edges are going to disappear, and it's going to leave a piece in the middle that will allow me to continue to use this this original bridge. It's fairly thin, this bridge, but at least with this veneer on the bottom, it will be making contact and has a glue surface, so that the bridge doesn't just instantly pull up. I'm not sure why this bridge was removed, and that's got me a little bit scared because I don't know what the reason was for it. I can't find any cracks in it. I don't see any problems with it, so maybe the problem was simply that it was cupped and it came off, and they decided to go with a different one. But the different one was unfortunately intonated differently. The saddle was in a different location. It was about 4 millimeters off. So while that new saddle was on and new bridge was on, this would not have been making the correct sounds as he should be, it would be basically off. So I'll sand this on a piece of plate. Okay, I've got this surface ready for gluing. I've got this surface ready for gluing. Okay, with the clamps in place, I'm ready to do the glue up on this, putting the old bridge back onto this guitar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this area one last time with naphtha, lighter fluid, soak a rag. Give that a couple minutes to wick off. Alright, so I'm not sure what's happening with the braces on this guitar, but sure doesn't leave her a lot of room once I get those clamps in place. I would normally like to have something on top of this bridge, but I don't think that there's going to be enough room for that to put anything on top of the bridge. So I'm just going to rely on the protective aspects of that piece of plastic there. This is going to go onto here, right here. It's lined up. And I've got a couple of bridge pins to go in here to line it up with the original holes. It's going to go on here like this. Once there, it doesn't move very much, so that's nice. It's pretty tight. Just waiting for that naphtha to wick off. This area in here was absolutely full of something. I don't know what it was. It looked like wood shavings that had been crushed up. It didn't even look like sawdust. It looked like more fibrous than that. And with the sawdust being basically in there, I can't imagine how that would have affected tone of this guitar. So hopefully it, with the original bridge in there, it will be way better. And I have no idea why this bridge was taken off. I can't see anything wrong with it. I don't see any cracks. It was cupped a bit, but I fixed that with a piece of veneer, and now it's sitting nice and flat where like it's supposed to be on the board. So just going to give it a couple minutes to make sure that naphtha is completely evaporated. Okay, the naphtha has dried, so I'm ready to put fish glue on this. That is not going to do. So I have fish glue now spread over the entire surface of this. I will put some into here as well. get some in the middle without, just so that there's some. Okay. Need this to line up. Push those down tight. And start so that is firm. Why is that? What happened here is it's up against the caul. I am going to check that though. Okay.
Normally I would have liked to have put something in between that plastic end and the bridge itself, but it was just so tight because of the braces underneath. There wasn't enough room. So what I ended up doing is just relying on the plastic there to minimize any sort of marring. And I actually had to take off those plastic tips to be able to fit the clamp in. It was very, very tight. just cleaning up the excess glue squeeze out with a damp paper towel all the way around the bridge, and it's basically ready to sit and wait for 24 hours.